Hello everyone, this is Hannah with Hannah Crafted Gifts. Hopefully I am live and you can see me. I'm going to make sure I can see me. Pardon my reach across my computer here where I'm trying to watch along as well. Hope you've all been enjoying the stamp along so far today. And it looks like I am live. So please feel free to comment. I'd love to know who's watching, where exactly from, and what you guys think as we go through. If you have questions, if you want to share your own thoughts, feelings on these things, tips and tricks, I'm always open. Couple things I just wanted to start out and mention. Even if you're watching this on replay, please do engage. It's a lot more fun to me to interact with you all through this. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please also feel like you can comment there. You can also like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy this. So today we're going to be using my favorite suite in the new January to June 2021 mini catalog from Stampin' Up. This was my birthday present to myself this year. So I usually don't let myself buy a whole suite because I am on a budget, and I'm going to show you some tips and tricks today on how to use your materials as efficiently as possible. But I did let myself get everything you see here. So I'll show you those things quickly and then we'll get started on the card I'm going to demonstrate. So first of all, this, hopefully you can see, is the Art Gallery Photopolymer Stamp Set. So you've got the clear stamps here. And not only are the flowers so beautiful in this set, and you can do two-step stamping and even some very special embellishment that I'll share in a moment, but it has some really versatile sentiments. So I think this is a really good beginner stamp set that can go a long way for people. Like it says, I miss you, happy birthday, congratulations, good luck, sorry, thank you, best wishes, you are lovely, and I'm thinking of you, the latter of which we'll use today. It also can be bundled to save 10% on the stamp set and the dies if you buy them together. So these are the Floral Gallery dies. I'll open this back up and show you those. If I can, it's kind of stuck because I took one of the dies out. So you can see these cut out the flowers and leaves for you. Also some sentiment banners. And then there's a big word die that I'll show you in my project. So that's the bundle. And then we've got the most beautiful designer series paper, I think, of the whole new catalog. And sorry, it's probably going to be hard for me to see your comments in real time. I find they're always a little delayed. And it looks like the way it's showing me on my computer, they're a little hard to see. But hi, Vicky. Hi, Francis. Hi, Carrie. Hi, Dana. So glad you're all here. All right. So this is the designer series paper, and this is my favorite sheet of it. You can see just these beautiful hand-painted floral images. You have kind of the palette knife painting in the background. Hopefully you can see that. I'm sorry if the light isn't letting you see that real well in the plastic here. But I also got not only, I want to get the name right, not only the Fine Art Floral Designer Series paper. With this suite you also get the Golden Garden Designer Specialty Acetate, which are these clear sheets. And I've actually placed one of them over this DSP because you can see it actually lines up and outlines the flowers. Such great coordination, which is what we've all come to expect from Stampin' Up. That's one of the reasons I invest in them. But 2 of the 3 acetate designs will match up with the DSP. So this one you see here, and then if you can see in the catalog, this very beautiful pinks flower print, that one lines up with the other floral print from the acetate. And then there's just like a lattice work acetate, which does not line up with any of these that I can figure out. I thought it might line up with this one because some of the DSP has that lattice on it, but it didn't quite. So anyway, that's some of the designer series paper. And then we've got, make some space again, we've got the, get the name again, Painted Texture 3D Embossing Folder. This I haven't gotten to play with yet. I didn't have as much time before today as I'd hoped, but you can see it gives that great palette knife texture to your paper. So you won't see that in my projects today, but I'm anxious to use that. You also have this ribbon, which I don't know if you guys noticed. Let me pull down my sleeves. I dressed to match my ribbon today. I said I love coordination. Hi, Beth. Glad to see you. So this ribbon I find doesn't photograph well in the catalog. It just looks kind of canvas to me and not gold, which is what it's supposed to be. It's fine art ribbon in gold. But in person it's very shiny. It's very soft. It is like very soft canvas, which of course goes with the theme of the suite well, but very shiny, and hopefully you can see that. Maybe the light will pick it up better here. But in person it's much more shimmery. Speaking of shimmery, so this is probably the most exciting thing to me, because I love when Stampin' Up comes out with new stamps, ink, and paper, which are of course the staples. But when they come out with an entirely new product, I get really excited to try something so different. So this is gilded leafing, and check out the size of this thing. I thought it would come like in one of these size jars, like our embossing powder, but it's huge, and it just expands, and I find it everywhere. It somehow sneaks itself out of there. I don't know how. But this comes, not with it, but with the suite if you buy this as well, and you do need this to go with the gilded leafing. It's the heat and stick powder. You use it much like embossing powder. So you would use like your Versamark, then you would sprinkle this, use your heat tool to get it sticky, and then you apply the gilded leafing. And I do have a sample project, a few additional sample projects at the end of today, one of which uses that, so I'll show you that at the end. But I want to get started with what we're making today. So if you're stamping along the instructions, we're in the PDF in the files section. We're making this Shadowbox note card. If you haven't prepped your materials, I'm going to be going through everything right now, so you can just follow along. So you can see from the front, it just looks like a regular size note card, and this is that die I was talking about. It says, "Just want to say." And then when you open it up, hopefully you guys can see there's a little space in here, so you get this shadow box effect, and I thought it kind of looked like a shadow box frame around a beautiful piece of art. And I've stamped the "You Are Lovely" with some of the flowers, because I just think the "You Are Lovely" goes so well with how lovely this suite is. And then you would have space for your message on the back, and you could add a white card there, but this was light enough I didn't do that. So yeah, and then it stands up as a great display, which I know you're seeing it from above, so you probably can't see that real well, but that's what we're going to be making today. Another one of these I made just to show you back when we had our August to December 2020 mini catalog was this one with the Trimming the Town suite. And this one, more than a picture, creates like a little scene, and you could write your message there since I put my sentiment on the inside and outside there. So that's just another way of doing this. And you'll notice, well, I'll show you how when we use just one sheet, we can get two note cards. This one opens this way. So this went with the Trimming the Town, just a simple note card to go with the Shadowbox note card. This is the leftover card that, if we have time, we'll make today. If not, I'll just talk you through it. That will come out of all the paper that we use for our Shadowbox. So here we go. I'm going to move my catalog out of the way. We're going to get started. Oh, someone says the embossing folder looks like chocolate frosting. Yum, someone's hungry. I could go for that. All right, so I've got my 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. I'm going to go ahead and start by cutting it at 5. And I have to get this right because this is the last sheet of Pool Party I have. So I'm just double checking my measurements, double checking my notes. Yes, so I'm cutting that at 5. That leaves 3.5, and again, we're going to come back to that for our leftover card. I'm going to set that aside. If I forget where it is, remind me, it's to my right. All right, so then this is at 11, and I want to cut it down to 10.5. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut a 1/2 inch off of here. Sorry if you're seeing my head, you probably are. I'm leaning in. And I'm not exactly that camera ready today, so hopefully you're not seeing too much of me. I am decent. All right, so I'm going to move that little scrap over. So now I've got my 5 by 10.5. And now I'm going to do some scoring. So I'm going to slide this back in. Actually, move my cutting blade up. I just got this paper trimmer from Stampin' Up and I'm loving it. How many of you have that and love it too? Let me know. All right, so first you're going to score it at 1/4 inch. So let me open this back up so I can really see. So just 1/4 inch to start. All right, then we're going to go to 3.5. Then 3 3/4, and then 7. So let me open this up. Again, all these dimensions are in the file for today's Stamp Along on this Facebook page, or if you're watching this on YouTube, they'll be in the description below. All right, 7. All right, so now we've got that cut and scored. I'm going to set that aside for just a moment because now I'm going to cut my DSP while I have my trimmer out. So I've got this, see, there's some gilded leafing snuck out. I've got this beautiful palette painted side, but even more so this beautiful floral side. And my computer just went to sleep, so let me just wake that back up so I can see what y'all are saying. I knew that would happen. Okay. So I'm going to cut this side first because this is really the star of the show, right? This is the picture in the frame of the Shadowbox. So I want to cut the part that I want. You're going to cut a strip at 3 inches. So you'd be able to get 4 strips out of one sheet of DSP because it's 12 by 12, of course, in this case. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use this side because I really like this portion for my picture. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that at 3. I'm just double checking. Yes. Okay. And then, again, because the picture is the star of the show, I want to make sure that's the piece I want, so I'm going to cut that first because we are going to be cutting 2 to 3 pieces here. So for my picture, I need it to be 3, which it already is this way, by 4 3/4. 3 by 4 3/4. So there's my picture. So I'm going to set that aside. All right, and then the next piece is just going to be using this side. So I flip it over and see, I think I want to use this side because it has a little more drama with the dark spot there. So this one's going to be, again, 3, which it already is, and this time by 4 1/2. I know that's only slightly different than the first one, which was 4 3/4. This one's 4 1/2. That's just because I find it fits with a more symmetrical border on the front of the card. All right, so now I've got that piece, and I've got an extra piece. That I'm going to save for my leftover cards. So again, those are going to my right. Hey Renee, I'm so glad you could make it. And Charlene, good to have you. Keep commenting, y'all. It's so good to see you on here with me. I'm sorry, I'm probably delayed getting to those again. Okay, so now we got to get the paper trimmer out of the way, and I'm going to die cut on camera, something I've never done before. Normally I like to have all my things prepped so I don't have to risk making mistakes when I'm live, especially, which has only been one other time, I think, to demo. But today I wanted to walk you through, again, how I'm using the pieces most efficiently. So we've done that with our cardstock and our DSP, and we'll come back to those things. Now we're going to die cut. So I need my card base back. Now, the way you're going to cut out your frame here is using any die you have. I'm using the stitched rectangle dies, and I'm using the one, let's see, I wrote it down, that is the 2 3/4 by 4 1/2 rectangle, because I find that fits just right. And you want to put that between your 1/4 inch score and your 3 1/2 inch score. Making sure that's correct. Again, thanks for your patience as I go through these things. I really want to make sure I tell you the right thing. So yes, between your 1/4 inch and your 3 1/2 inch score lines. So I'm going to lay that in there. Hope it doesn't go crooked on me. I know some people use washi tape. Maybe I'm using the wrong washi tape, but sometimes I find that can kind of tear at my paper a little bit. I know there's the magnetic cutting plate. I probably need to invest in that at some point. I'm hoping to be able to invest in our new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. At least the mini. I think I'm going to be able to get the mini here soon. All right, so 5 by 1/2 inch. And I'm sure I could use that for something else. Okay, so I'm going to put this away for now. We might bring it back later if we have time for that leftover card. And let's see what's next. I think next we're going to stamp. So I've got my card base. I'm going to go ahead and fold on all my score lines. And I don't recommend burnishing like with the bone folder right away, because you want to make sure that it's going to close flat. So it's good to just kind of like gently fold on those score lines to start. And they all fold the same direction, which is nice and simple. I think this is actually a quite simple card for beginner crafters. All right, so then to make sure it's going to fold in flat, I like to take this end and line it up with this first score line here. See, it's already gone a little past. All right. And then make sure that this is going to close flat. Okay, so now I can get my bone folder and do some burnishing. Let me make sure I'm still alive, because I've paused on my computer. Hopefully I haven't paused on yours. Okay, looks like we're good. All right, so I'm going to start burnishing my score lines. Sorry for the sound on the table. Hope you can still hear me. I'll check those comments. Oh, someone has the Big Boss and the Mini Boss. Lucky you. I'd love to hear what you think of them, especially the Mini. If you think it's worth having both. I think certainly for traveling it would be nice to have, like when I'm back to going to in-person events, maybe at other people's homes or other locations. All right. So now I've got that folded and ready to go. And the first thing I'm going to do is stamp, because of course I could make a mistake, and if I had extra cardstock then I would have another chance. I don't today, so hopefully the stamping goes well. I am using the Night of Navy ink, and again that You Are Lovely sentiment that I think goes so well with this. So I'm going to go ahead and ink that up. I just realized I don't have a scrap sheet to stamp off on, which I'm going to need next. So I'm just centering this, and I already made a little mark, so hopefully that's going to be okay. Between the end of the paper and this first score line. I'm going to lean in since I made that mark again. Sorry if you're seeing my head. So I don't know that that's quite centered, but it's where I made the mark, so I tried to line that up. We'll see how I did. Not too bad. Okay. Not too bad. All right, so then Let me see if this little post-it, oh yes, this little post-it will work. Instead of big grid paper, I'm just making what I've got right around me work today. Okay, so I'm going to stamp these flowers off once. And I think these are the only flowers, that's not real crisp, let me try that again. I think these are the only flowers in the set that don't have a double, so that you can two-step stamp them with that heat and stick powder and then add the gilded leafing so that part of the flower is golden, which is gorgeous. All right, so once again, fingers crossed this works. Pretty good. 1 to go. 2 down, 1 to go. It's a good time. Good time in the process. I see there's some conversation about the machines. I definitely am anxious to read through that more thoroughly when I'm done here. And if I don't get to your comment live, I will certainly get to it after this is posted. So again, please keep those comments coming. Talk to me, talk to one another. I love it. That's one of the things I love the most about Stampin' Up! Is the community it creates. And I gotta tell you, it's a particularly good time to have that community. All right, so we're stamped and we're gonna bring our DSP back over. Again, you wanna make sure that the smaller piece, it's only smaller in 1 dimension by just a 1/4 inch, that's for the front. So that's why I have it facing the way I'm going to have it on the front. This is the one I'm going to have in here for my picture. So let me get my multi-purpose liquid glue. You can use, obviously, whatever adhesive you prefer. I pretty much only use the multi-purpose liquid glue. And then, of course, dimensionals and occasionally glue dots, especially for ribbon or actually for the little delicate word pieces I'm going to be adding to the front, because I did my first sample that I showed you with glue and it was a mess. Maybe partly because I just wasn't having a good glue day, but I think the glue dots will be a little smoother, especially for a video. All right, so we've got the picture in there, and this is centered between that first and second score line, so you can see it's going to end up in the frame. So then what I'm going to do is on this little 1/4 inch flap, I'm going to add just a little bit of the glue. A little bit goes a long way for those of you who haven't used this before, and it does ooze out and get really sticky. All right. So I'm going to close the card on itself, and that's how I'm going to make sure it sticks in the right place. So I'm going to make sure that this is folded down, that's opened up, and then I'm going to close the front. Okay? And then just press along here. Sorry, I'm kind of going out of frame, aren't I? I'm working myself closer to me. Sorry, I hope you can see most of what I've been doing. Okay. Now you can see when you open it, it kind of pops into the shadow box. You can do it once this way too, just to make sure that that's definitely going to stick. All right, so there we go. So we've got our inside done, and of course you could add a sentiment here or here. You could even add a flower that you die cut out in the corner here or something, kind of like I did the house on the other one. But now we're going to go ahead and just do the front. So let's see which way I want this to go. I think I want it to go from light to dark, fade that way. I just can't get over how beautiful this paper is. I'm definitely a paper person. Let me know in the comments, are you more of a stamp person, a paper person? I don't know if maybe there are ink people or like embellishment people. What type of product do you get most excited about? And if you're not sure, maybe think where you spend your money the most. I have come to realize it is definitely paper for me. And my computer went to sleep again, so I'll be right back to your comments. Hopefully in a second here I can get signed back in. Thank you all for your patience and your grace today. Again, I just love the community of how encouraging crafters are to one another, sharing ideas and affirmation. Really means a lot. All right, I think I'm back. I'm gonna refresh. Hopefully there I am, and there you are. Yes, okay, good. All right. Everyone's saying they love it all. I get that. It's hard to choose a favorite, isn't it? Okay. All right, now we just have to add the words. So again, you could glue these down, but I found that made quite a mess. So I've gone ahead and put glue dots on the back of the die cut words, and I die cut the words from this piece that we cut out from in here, because again, I don't want anything to go to waste, and that's how I got to this. So again, hopefully we'll be able to at least talk through that here at the end. So I'm going to add my just. And the J has a little dot on top. All right. And then my want. Let me make sure I get these in the right order. Wouldn't that be funny? I have seen people use like just the J, or sorry, not just the J, just the just. So we'll say just thinking of you. That might even be in the catalog. I can't remember where I've seen everything at this point. It's been a lot of looking for inspiration lately with these new things, hasn't it? Oh, thank you, Carrie. I really appreciate the encouragement, like I said earlier. That's so sweet of you. All right, so just want to say that ended up pretty well lined up. I'm pleased. I think we did it before I kind of centered these and then worked up and down from there. And I may play with it a little more later. The glue dots give you a little chance to do that. But there's the card. So just want to say you are lovely, and you've got your Shadowbox card. Hopefully you can see that dimension. All right, so we have a few minutes to talk through this extras card at least. So let me pull my extras into view here and bring some tools back up. So where did my paper trimmer go? Here it is. Adhesive sheets. Yes. Okay, I thought about using those, Beth. I'd love to know more about how you use those. I actually wanted to use the foam ones to give the words a little dimension, but just didn't get to it yet. So this is the leftover piece. Again, it's still 11 by 3.5. We want it to stay 3.5 because a note card's 3.5 by 5, but obviously it's going to be 3.5 by 5. We need to cut it down to 10. So I'm going to go ahead and cut 1 inch off of this. Here we go. So again, this is the only scrap, and wouldn't that be a great like banner for a sentiment? So definitely usable later. We need to score this at 5. All right, so there's our card base, quick and easy for our leftovers note card. Get that lined up and burnished. I want to show you some samples too, some more samples that I don't have time to demonstrate, but that you can use if you have, or make if you have this suite. All right, so I would cut the just want to say out of here with the dies, and then this piece of DSP we had left over, which is 3 by 2 3/4, can go behind. So you could put the flowers showing through, or as you can see on this one, I put the paint showing through again. It's real subtle, but hopefully you can see that. And then if you keep these little pieces like the holes of the A, the O, the bottom of the J and Y, then you can add those in as well. So when you die cut out, you can save every little piece and use it again on this card. So you would just, again, die cut out. I just want to say it fits just right in there. If you didn't use this particular rectangle die, you would just need to have a piece that's at least 3 by 2 3/4 if you're using the just wanted to say dies, because it's just about that big. And then again, you'd have this DSP that could go behind it. And you can see I might need to trim this DSP a little bit, but better too big than too small. And then again, on the inside, you could add your white card, which on this one I stamped with the little flowers in the corner. I think these are actually the little flowers that you stamp on top of a bigger flower. I think it's this one here. Yeah, this stamps on top of that if you want to use the gilded leafing, or just do 2-step stamping, just like this one stamps on top of that. But just even that little inside of the flower, since I never that whole bouquet, I think works well, and I'm thinking of you. So that's how you can use everything really efficiently to make this card. But let me show you some of those other samples I've been promising. So here I wanted to make one of every size card. So here's a little 3 by 3 card, again using the just want to say. And my favorite sheet of DSP, you can see under there, with all the different colors peeking through. And this one just says thank you. So there's a little 3 by 3 note card, or a little 3 by 3 card, sorry, that's the note card. This is a slimline card, which we know has become all the rage. And this I'm calling a gallery card. So my upline actually taught me how to make a bay window card, which you may have seen my downline, Renee Ewert, do a tutorial for on, let's see, was it December's Stamp-A-Lone? November or December. But this is a gallery card, so you can see it stands up again really well, but it's like you're walking through a gallery, and these I used dimensionals, so you've got a little bit of the shadow box effect happening again with the art, and then this one has more of the frame around it, and that's what allows you to stand it up, because that's up on dimensionals. And when you open it up, you've got the beautiful back side of that DSP, again just want to say, and this time you are lovely again. So that's my gallery card. And then I've got my frame card. So this is a split panel card, and I've used a retired set of dies and embossing folders. It's the Heirlooms frames, and let me get the name right. I have it right over here, just out of reach. The Heirlooms Frames 3D embossing folder. But if you didn't have that, you could use the stitched rectangles dies. You just wouldn't have, if you can see this kind of floral indent that goes so well. Or you could even just use a trimmer to cut out a big rectangle with a small rectangle in the middle and make a frame. But obviously this uses the gilded leafing, and I wanted it to look very antiqued, so it's not completely covering, obviously. And the way I did this, once again, I used the heat and stick powder. After using Versamark on the paper, I used the heat and stick powder, my heat tool, and then I actually just used my finger and took little pieces of the gilded leafing and placed them on, and then kind of rubbed them. And it did rub off a little bit, but again, that was the look I was going for. And then the little like dust that I rubbed off, I put back on again to get just kind of that sprinkled gold kind of peeling off look like an old frame would have. And then of course this opens up. Can't resist that sentiment again. So there's that card. So one of every size, because that is a standard size card. And let me bring back in that leftovers card from today as well. So I hope you guys like the Fine Art Floral Suite as much as I do. I think Stampin' Up! Anticipated we all would, because it's on the front and back of our new mini catalog. And I certainly do. So thank you all so much for watching. Again, if you're watching this on replay, feel free to keep commenting and I will reply. If you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to comment, like, and even subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on, obviously, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, Pinterest. I have a website, hannahcraftedgifts.wordpress.com. But everywhere you look, I'm Hannah Crafted Gifts. So I hope you all continue to enjoy your crafting. As always, happy crafting. Take care.